I'm here with Steve Marcopoto, who just had a very interesting panel of millennials and what they say about the future of media. Steve, who are the millennials?
Millennials are essentially everybody that's grown up digital, people that have been born since the commercial development of the internet and are essentially growing up in a multi-device world.
Why do they matter? Why should we care?
They matter because they're the future of consumption. They are consuming in much different ways through many different forms than we have, and we have to adapt our content and our methods of delivery, or we proceed at our peril in the years ahead, because these guys are moving on, and if we're not where they're consuming, our businesses are going to drift.
And you had a very interesting panel of 4 seniors from high school. What are the key learnings you took out of what they were telling?
Well, one point that a fella made, which I thought really underlined it, it's the point of where they want it, how they want it, and when we want it. We were talking about how they watch television programs. Not a single one of them appointment viewed a television program on a TV at home. And this young man was talking about being told about an episode of a program by a friend in class, going to the cafeteria, firing up his wireless laptop at lunch and downloading the episode to view at that point in time. So it was something that he wanted to watch, it was when he wanted to watch it, and on the device that he wanted to. So it's very much an on-demand experience that we have to cater to with these folks.
Are there any Asian particularities to this? Are there any ways in which Asian markets can learn from this?
Oh, I guess that it's pretty universal. We're seeing, if anything, that Asians have actually been earlier adopters on personal technology, heavy use of hand phones and consumption there. I think that there's a lot of universal themes here. I think for us in the TV business here, because we're earlier in the development curve and in the industry penetration, that if we can get our business models more aligned to these forms of consumption and the demands of these young people, we'll be better positioned to grow and succeed in the years ahead, rather than having to retrofit it perhaps as markets in the West, which have matured more in the traditional ways.
I thought it was very, very striking also about social networking and some of the things they brought up there, the lack of email.
Yeah, that was very interesting. That was a kind of a hunch that I had based on what I see my own kids doing. I have 2 millennials in my household, 15 and 13. And essentially, the social networking address, or whichever particular social network they work off of, seems to have become their portal, the way that 10 years ago people would go to a yahoo.com or an AOL.com. These guys are going to Facebook. That's where they're getting their email. Not a single one of them emailed from a traditional email account. They email on Facebook, they MSN one another, and they post all of the things that matter in terms of their interests on the net through Facebook. One of the kids said, the only time I look at my Hotmail is to see what messages I've got from my Facebook account. So clearly the social networking hub sits as a kind of a central area where they consume media, where they're directed to it, and where they reach out into the digital expanse that's out there for everyone.
Another thing that struck me was the mobile phone and the way that it's used for video and not used for video.
That was very interesting, because one of the things that is ongoing in our industry is our intention and our belief that we really have got to create programs for mobile usage, and that it's going to be a high consumption area. It was surprising that the majority of them, all of them, said it was mainly voice, texting, and music, almost like an iPhone MP3 device with some extras thrown in. That may very well be that, again, we haven't done a very good job of creating the type of content that is more appropriate and consumable on the phone. One of the fellows said, I couldn't see myself watching an entire episode or an entire movie on the phone. That's interesting. They do watch entire episodes and movies on a device which isn't that much bigger than a regular phone, an iPhone, of course. But I think that for ourselves in the news and the kids business at Turner, for instance, we know that you got to get in there with shorter bits, 1 minute, 2 minute news updates, short animated clips, things that people will consume differently than they do when they're sitting on a couch or sitting in front of their PC and consuming off of a computer or television screen. that was enlightening.
Okay, excellent.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for the summary.
Yeah, good to see you, Thomas.